Right, so welcome back, and just as the title of this video said, I did in fact break our beloved 54, but in my defence, it was sort of broken. Before I broke it, I just broke it a little bit more because it was broken already, if that makes sense. It'll make more sense as we go on through this video. You can see the camera's back on, but unfortunately I don't think I put it in the right place. It needs to go a little bit higher. I'm going to have to make a bracket or something up here for it to fit and bring it out ever so slightly, because I thought that would have been a good spot. I see other people put them down here, and yeah, I'd be afraid of it getting broken down here. But it's not in the right place, but it is working. I can see the ends of the arms, but this bar is blocking my view. That's not a big job, because all I have to do is lift it off here, plenty of cable, and just put it in there. So what's gone wrong with the 54? A short time after we bought it, developed a wee leak in the front axle. On this side here, I think it was, yes. I seen it quite shortly after the tractor bought. So slight you'd barely notice it. But I did mention to the guys where we bought it in Johnson's, and they came out, sent a lad out, in fairness to them, and sorted that out fairly quickly, and that's all sorted. But when they were out, I also mentioned another little bit of a problem that we had, and that was with our T-bar. Let's get into the tractor and show you what that is. I'll just turn on the ignition here. And that's how quick our camera engages in. You've seen this before on the case. It's the very same camera. It's the same one. I took it out of it and kept it when we sold the case on. And I always intended to put it back on this tractor. But you can see it's just not in the right spot. You can mount these upside down. That's why the bracket is fixed. It's much better than down here. Much better, because you just have to glance. And it's not blocking anything. And it's nice and easy. I didn't want to be boring anything into this here. So what I done was I just be able to get my hand behind here onto this fabric. Bore two little holes. You'd barely notice them, and put two little bolts up in there, and it's nice and solid and just in a good spot. So I really like where that is. It's just the camera is a little bit too low, so I'll have to adjust that. So on these Masseys, if you're not used to them, you have this shuttle here now. So obviously that's your clutch up. Just acts, you don't have to use your clutch if you don't want. You can use this here on its own. You release, the tractor will take off, pull it back up, clutch engages, and so on. If you're in gear already, I have my foot in the clutch at the minute. If you're in gear, you can change the gears up and down by just doing that there. Upwards and downwards. Some people use that all the time. It's just a habit. I don't use that. I use the T-bar. I always like using the T-bar. It's just a preference, and that's it. Some people like the T-bar, some people like it on here on the steering wheel. I just use this, but you have both options if you need them. But with the T-bar, it developed a wee problem. So you might see no lights on here. That's not an issue. If I go down one, you'll see it lighting up. There it is. Number 2 is lighting. Number 3 isn't lighting. You can see the issue there I'm having. It's not changing range right. It's just not being responsive. Now number 3 is not lighting up because the bulb. I'll just put it down into it now and you'll see the bulb is not right. It's gone a little while now. It sometimes flickers on and off. I'll hopefully sort that now when I have it opened. The range was the one that started off, not wanting to change range. You'd have to push it 4 or 5 times for it to change range, and it just wasn't picking up. It was like a bad connection on this button. Then the forward reverse started to play up about a month after. It didn't always want to engage, although it's working there now perfect. C, B, A, up again, working now perfect. Unfortunate thing is it only works at 50% of the time. It's not changing right, it's not smooth. You could be on the lane there and you could go, you could want to go from A to B. This is Dyna 4, by the way, so it goes from A to D rather than Dyna 6, which goes from A to F in each range. But it just doesn't want to change. It sits on the one, and sometimes if you hold it forward for a little while, then it will change, and other times you have to do it maybe 4 or 5 times. It just seems to get lost on itself. It's not a big problem, because this shuttle here is working absolutely perfectly. It's taken over the responsibility and it's working. It's just a wee bit more hassle when you're changing range. It's nice to have this button to push forward. So technically I didn't break the 54 until I got frustrated with it. And one day I was up on that hill there above us, and I was working, topping with the mower, and I wanted to gear down and it wouldn't gear down, and I just got a little bit frustrated with it. It happens to the best of us, and I pushed the T-bar a little bit too hard and I broke the stem going across here. I did put a post on my Instagram story showing the stem broken too and saying it was a bit of a frustrated Monday. It was my own fault. I just got a little bit annoyed with it, and I just give it a bit of a rip and the stem broke clean off it. So I've fitted one of these before, and not terribly complicated. Just said, you know what, send me down the bits and pieces. I'll try it myself for, save you a run, and if I can't fix it, then you can come down and have a look at it. So that's what they did, and that's what we're going to work at now. This shouldn't be that bad. I only have to take off a few screws around here and pull this up as much as I can just to get at this underneath here, and we'll see what's in here. If you're ever working on one of these and you're having trouble getting this cover off, loosen them 3 bolts there. They're on top of that guard that's on top of the spools, and there's another bolt just there that holds the whole lot together, because that could frustrate the life of you if you didn't see it. I didn't see it, and it's frustrated the life of me. Anyway, underneath here, without me having to take any more of this cover off, because I'd have to take off that pillar cover and everything to get it off fully, you can see a couple of little screws in there. There's 3 of them. And if you can just get in under there and loosen them 3, you can pull this off. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Bit of time saving, hard to beat it. Oh, that gives me plenty of access now to work on this. So here's your T-bar now on its side. So say if I wanted to gear down, I would move the T-bar back like this here, and you hear a wee click. You hear that little click? It's the same in the forward position, exact same way. Well, that little click is coming from this little guy here, and there's 2 of them. There's a forward one and a reverse. Just basically a little switch on a spring. So you move your T-bar back, watch what happens. That's it. It just engages that little switch, and that little switch is joined onto a block connector. You have 2 of them. There's one side and there's the other side. What happens is these can go faulty, and they're known to give a little bit of trouble. So we're going to replace the T-bar itself and these 2 switches on both sides. If I turn it over, you'll see the other one. There's the other one on the other side. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's get at it. There it is. We'll unplug that. Look at the connection. Yeah, that connection's clean. Very clean. No dust has got in there, so no problem with that connection. We'll swap that out now for a new one. So here we have our new one here. And that should just slip exactly in where this one came off, hopefully. Clean away that dust. Plug it in now and we're at it. So if you look here, this bite is kind of on a slider, so you have a wee bit of adjustment back and forth. So the last one was bang on in the middle, and I think that's just about right. You can adjust them. To me, that's just nice, so we'll fit it at that. This is not a genuine Massey Ferguson cable tie. Come back out to you. So that's one side done. The other side is exactly the same. I'll just stick it here on a quick time lapse, and you'll see that I actually did do it. And then we'll get ready to change our T-bar. We're going to have a look here to see, first of all, what's in the box, what comes with this one. There's our T-bar. That must be just the cover. It is, yeah. If I remember right from the last one of these I've done, it's just a matter of opening this top cap, unscrewing it, and it just pops out. And if that is the case, then this was going to be fairly easy. The only thing I might have an issue with is these connectors. Getting them in and out. This should just push in and out. Anyway, we'll get to that. Let's get the other one off and see, is it going to be as easy as I imagine it might be. This top cap has seen a lot of battering, Obviously people have come at it with a screwdriver several times before, but to open it you have to loosen this little bye here in the corner, and then you just wedge this bye open. It should open quite easily. As you see there, the cap more or less fell off. I think that cap's well damaged, but that's the way it comes off. You don't have to stick any screwdrivers in there. Someone just must have forgot. That's how easy the thing does actually come off. Under here now, it looks to me like we've a 10mm bolt under there, and I can see instantly the wires is damaged. Didn't rather don't look great. Now just lift it off. That's it. It is actually quite simple. Push the little guy in, and that'll unplug there, and get these buys out. Now that's the biggest thing, getting these two power yokes out. These two wires goes into this plug. The issue I'm having is I can't get the T-bar off completely without removing this plug. Now the new one comes with these two guys, which technically should push straight up into here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these for now here, and I'm going to slip the old T-bar and get it all fitted, and then I'm going to try to slip these out without causing any damage, because I do not want to cause any damage to the end of that terminal, because that would just cause more problems. If I can't get them back out, and I'll solder them on together, and that'll work a lifetime. It'll make no difference. It's an awful lot better than damaging the terminal, so we'll see how we get on. We'll cut it for now and fit our T-bar on first and come back to this. That's our T-bar off. There's two little channels and places for the wires to go down, so try not to nick the wire when you're putting it on. Pull them tight. There we are, that makes more sense. Then it goes, it'll pop into place, and then we'll stick our nut on here. So we're just going to stick on some heat shrink here first. Our two wires. There probably is a way of taking them out. Somebody probably knows, but I don't want to damage that. Really, it should have come with a new plug, so you can just push them straight into it. But look, it's fine. That is as good as anything. I'm just going to hook it all back together here and just test it and see what it's doing. Yeah, it's changing range anyway. I know you can't see the 3, but watch. That's 3, this will be 4. That's working. Now A to B, B, C, D, and then downwards, C, B, and A. That's working. Time will tell when I get out in the field and check it out, because it can be temperamental. Sometimes it'll work absolutely flawless, but most of the time it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's pretty obvious. So we'll keep an eye on it for the next wee while and see what it does. Something you could probably tackle yourself. If you were getting a T-bar like that, now soldering will last forever. Every bit is good. It's just you might want to ask for that wee block connector, see can you get it. I'm just going to put everything back together now. One thing I didn't do was address the lights not working. I almost forgot. So, see what's in here. So I have to unhook this block connector. I'll start out. When we take these, this is not going to be straightforward. I don't think I can fix this. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to fix this. That there is a sealed unit, so I'm going to have to order one of those and get one of those for it. So it's just a loose connection inside. 2, 3, only we tap it again. Oh, it's nearly there. There it is. Oh, there's 3 now. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. The next thing we're going to do is put a new seal on this window. But if you look up here, there's the problem there. See the way it's split open here on the top? And that's where the water's coming in. If it was raining any way at all, rain heavy, and the tractor was sitting. As soon as you get on the tractor and move it, you get an absolute flush of water that will come into the cab. So we have a new seal here on the ground that should hopefully fit without too much hassle onto that glass and solve that problem. It's on. So that's our new seal on. That was easy enough. It was a two-person job in the end. I had to get my daughter up here for a wee while and give me a hand just to hold the nut and washer in the inside while I just tighten them up. But it worked perfectly without taking that off. You just have to be careful you don't strain the window too much, or all of a sudden you might hear that noise and the whole thing's in bits in the ground. So look, you do it the way you want to do it, but that is that fixed. There's a kind of an adhesive already in that. You see that white stuff? It's already in the rubber when it comes, so it was quite easy. I'm just going to go around and double check. You see there is a bit wonky there, so I'm just going to go in with a wee bit of a screwdriver now and just push back into the place to straighten that all up now that it is closed. And there was the top of it there. It's not in that bad a condition, but it was perished up here, or it got nipped or something at the top. And that there, a pool of water was sitting on top of the window, and then every time you'd move, it would just come racing in through that, and you get a lot of water coming into the cab. And it was starting to go down and around the handbrake and everything, and it wouldn't be long rusting everything out. So that's it, job worth doing. Anyway, the news on the 54 is very good. It's fixed. We have used it now a lot for the last 2 days. It's changing gear much better now, and it's more responsive, and it makes an awful difference when you're driving it. So not a real hard job to do. Anybody could really do it themselves, as long as you take your time and just watch your ass and put everything back in its right place. It's a job fixed. So what I'm thinking is it's going to be better up here somewhere, in or in that position, so it sees the whole front. So I'm going to put a bracket across there and just mount it roughly about there. Now, just a warning to you guys, just be careful. If you are sensitive to bright lights, maybe just turn off for the next 10 to 20 seconds, because I'm about to weld this on. Now, just to give you a look what's on the screen, if you can make that out, so I can see both sides here when I'm hooking something on, and I'm definitely be fit to see the forks when they're in front of it. That's another little job took care of. I'm not going to worry too much about tidy things. I put a little bit of red paint up there where I done the welding and where I took off the old bracket that I welded on for the first attempt. But I'm not going to worry too much about it, because I hope to get this off soon enough and get it all sandblasted and repainted and re-decaled and all, and bring it up basically like new. I have a few little things to tidy up on both sides of it there as well, and that'll be done hopefully soon enough. We just haven't really booked it in. I have a seal here. I want to take off this ram probably and get this seal repaired here, because it is leaking a lot more this last while. There's a nice little oil drip coming out of it there now, so that's going to have to be sorted out. But that's all for another video. Thanks very much for watching. As always, if you like what you see, hit that sub button, give us a like, hang the little bell on the right hand corner to notify you when our videos is up. Until the next one, we'll talk to you again.